Welcome into a new edition of KSR's Happy Hour presented by Country Boy Brewing. We are here in our regular place on YouTube with a live stream at 4 p.m. on Monday. We're here every Monday, including last weekend on the holiday. We enjoyed doing this. Back again this week with Tyler Thompson, who's been a regular on all these. Nick Roush in the rotating seat over there. Roush, haven't had you on in a while. Good to see you.
You as well. I just had a couple days off, so that was weekend getaway is what we like to call it. A long weekend, so it was nice to get off the internet streets for a little bit. Ready to catch up here on the happy hour.
Yeah, this has become our nice way of winding down from the worst day of the week, Mondays, as we all get back to the grind. As I mentioned, we're presented by Country Boy Brewing. So get my prop here. I'm not going to drink all 6 of these, but I have.
I'm part of the club. I'm part of the club now. I finally got some.
Yeah.
In Nashville. How'd you pull that off? Are you allowed to say?
I went to Kentucky.
Oh, that'll
and
do
loaded
it.
up at the Liquor Barn. So I've got the Cliff Jumper IPA, and then I got their American Pale Ale, which is, I think, called Halfway Home. So I stocked up. Yeah, the fridge is completely full of country.
The variety pack is a great little treat to have around because you never know what kind of flavor you're going to be in. And usually at my local grocery store, it's like a pretty good deal. Where I'm like, wait, this is all you're charging me for these 12 beers? So highly recommend the variety pack. Highly recommend. Drew, you got the lime. I haven't done that one yet. That looks delicious.
They're new to shelves they're out every summer, but they're seasonal. It just popped back up a few weeks ago. This is not my first 6-pack of the summer. Cheers. KSR branding glasses there. So yeah, way to go, Tyler. Bootlegging it across state lines. Proud of you.
You got to. I saw they have a new IPA. It's like an Imperial IPA. I'll have to look up the name. They didn't have it at the Liquor Barn, but I saw it on their social media, so I'm intrigued.
I have a question while we're on the subject before we get into the real talk. I think it was our guy CFE on the board who asked about different HIPAAs and DIPAs and hazies. I drink cold beer. It's usually light beer, and sometimes I'll feel frisky, but I'm still in my young 30s, right? I don't have a sophisticated palate. What the hell is a HIPAA and a DIPA? Imperial? Like what? Can you explain it to me like I'm just turned 21 years old?
We'll jump ahead to the Q&A. That was one of our questions. What kind of beer we like. HIPAA, I think you're looking for a hazy IPA there. It's not really the HIPAA laws has nothing to do with that.
Totally different. All right.
DIPA, that was a double IPA.
Oh, so there's
I guess triple.
You can 3 times it?
I'm just.
Well, you've got different types of like flavors. So you've got West Coast IPAs, which are my favorite. The New England IPAs or the hazy IPAs. I'm sure Remy, my dog, has a favorite. He's trying to make his voice heard right now.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer the West Coast IPAs. They're a little more
citrusy, right?
Well, those are more like New England IPAs. West Coast is a little more malty. But yeah, see, you're just a babe. You're only 34.
Right.
So you've got plenty of time as you evolve in your 30s to develop your craft beer taste.
Got you. Okay. I will eventually get to it. But you said Imperial, and I just was immediately like, wait. So are we going to conquer another country after we drink this beer? How does it work?
Yes, it's a lot stronger, so you might feel like you should. So.
Those probably come in those like big glasses. They're shorter, but they got the little bulb at the bottom. That's class right there.
I forget what the ABV percent is that you have to serve them in those glasses. It's a state law in Kentucky. If the ABV is over 7%, then I think you have to serve it in a different type of glass, like a 10-ounce glass instead of a 16-ounce glass. Clearly, I know a little too much about beer, but that's why I love this show. It's awesome.
Nick, do you know why IPAs have a hoppier taste and a higher alcohol content?
So I am a trivia nerd. I know so much useless information, and it comes in handy for moments like this. But I believe it was because when Imperial England was running the show and the sun was never setting on the British Empire, they had to make their beer last to India. They had to put more hops in it. Is that correct?
Look at this guy.
Look at me
Ding,
now.
ding, ding.
And that's talking beer. Check out Country Boy.
Do you think they serve India Pale Ales in India?
Or if they do, are they just called Pale Ales? Pale ales?
Oh, that's an even better
We have
question.
American pale ales. They're just a little lighter. Our
I
little
like
spin on
those.
it.
The APA that Country Boy has is one of the favorites, personal favorite.
Yeah,
So,
I would love it.
Halfway home, I believe, is the name of that one.
I want to go.
And
We
we're
did a good
halfway
job
home through
of.
this show and still talking about beer.
I know we did a good
We're
job
gonna
of
get kicked off
delaying
YouTube.
baseball because we didn't like. Who really wants to talk about that?
Oh
That was
man.
Well,
What a
Kentucky
bummer.
baseball, they're probably halfway home from Clemson right now after losing last night to West Virginia. I'm sure most people know the story by now, but just briefly, Kentucky played the most hours of baseball you can possibly play in a single day yesterday, beating Clemson to stay alive early, and then a 5-hour game at West Virginia at night. West Virginia went up 1-0, and Kentucky takes the lead to go 4-1 in the second. Kentucky blew a 5-run lead in the sixth. And then, Nick Roush, we get to the eighth. Devin Burks, Mr. June, goes yard to extend the lead back out to 5. We thought we were good, right?
yeah. Especially when Devo is going long, like that's like we're postseason baseball. The Batcats are back. We're scoring runs. We're hitting dingers. This is great news. West Virginia's going down. We're back to the Supers, baby.
Absolutely not.
Eh,
It felt
I think
too
I
good to
know.
be true.
Yeah.
Even with the pitching situation when it was, Tyler, you're up 5. We had a little bit of hope, but as West Virginia loaded the bases, even with 2 outs, you could just tell as they Kentucky went through 5 pitchers that inning that they were on the ropes, even with the lead.
Yeah, it was brutal. I think I know the minute it went south. It was when they showed that young Kentucky fan who didn't have his shirt on dancing in the crowd. Like they showed him coming into a segment, and I sent that video. I recorded it on TV, sent it to Steven and Daniel Hager. And I said, if when Kentucky wins, we got to use this to go with our final score graphic on social media. Sure enough, it was kind of all downhill from there. So I may have KSR cursed the cat. So apologies.
I think the most remarkable part of it all was that it wasn't just that they gave up 6 runs in the top of the 8. They did it with 2 outs. And there was multiple instances where the count was full. And I really wanted our guy, I think it's James McCoy. I like to call him Jim McCoy. Jim McCoy sounds like a guy you everybody knows Jim McCoy, right? He can fix anything. He throws the ball 100 miles an hour. When you're pulling the first baseman off the pitch, I wanted him to have that moment so bad to get out of that jam. They had already given up 2 runs. I still had hope. And then a line drive right over the second baseman's head ties the game up. They give up another run, and it sucks because, like, we can be honest with each other. I think we all had low expectations going into the season as a bounce back year, and for them to just go, like, it was history just to go to 3 straight NCAA tournaments. The fact that they got to a point where they almost went to 3 straight supers. I mean, they were this. It was there for the taking. You're up 5 runs in the 8th inning. Just get another strike, get another out. But that really has been the story for this team all year, is good enough to be there, but not good enough to close out and seal the deal.
Good enough to get your hopes up and then bad enough to dash them. I mean, it felt like, they beat Clemson by so much in that first game yesterday. We all got so excited. They got up to an early lead on West Virginia, and then it felt like a train wreck in slow motion. Like we all kind of knew what was going to happen, but we're all sitting there watching it, and it took forever. It was like excruciatingly long, those last few innings. It was brutal. It was like I was looking at my watch. I was like, am I still watching this, even though I know what's going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was awful.
It was a full commitment to watch both those games. I mean, it took your whole Sunday. And it should have been fun otherwise. Well, they have 28 combined runs.
Yeah.
You just can't finish the job.
And that had been their problem all years. They couldn't score. And it's like, oh, well, they're scoring now. Devin Burks is hitting dingers. Like, Drew, we're maybe even hosting a KPP.
Oh, I was right there. But you're right, Nick. It's kind of a microcosm of the whole season. What's the stat? They led in like 31 of 35.
27 of 31.
Yeah, whatever it is. To have the lead in so many games, the bullpen let them down a lot this year. They'll have to reload there. But when you don't win the Friday game, that kind of puts your bullpen in that spot anyway. I mean, West Virginia brought out their Friday starter who looked like a guy who was ready to go, and Kentucky's just stringing it together with duct tape at the end. Even with the lead, it didn't feel good once they started get some guys in scoring position. That's how it goes, though, you know? Were you upset about the season as a whole? Can we live with it?
I mean, it was a rebuilding year, I feel like. They had only, 2 offensive starters from last year's team. So you kind of give them a little bit of leeway. They just went to, the College World Series for the first time in program history. So I feel like Nick Mingione's got some room, some grace. But still, it's like the heartbreaking way it ended kind of leaves a sour taste in your mouth.
And that Josh Tackett nailed it. I mean, it's just like you're right there. You made history, but to let it slip away in such awful, awful fashion, it hurts. It hurts. There's no way around it. And that's why part of me is disappointed that we don't have today to like get hyped for an elimination game and potentially have another week of UK sports with the Super around the corner. But the other part of me is like, good riddance, baseball. You're the dumbest sport ever. Why did I even waste my time watching you? Because we had this last night. It was like, getting back, trying to catch up on things that I missed the last 3 or 4 days. So I've got, baseball's great to have on in the background while you're doing stuff. And my wife, she was doing things in the other room, and I'm keeping her updated on everything that's happening. When they drove in that final run, Brooke just looked at me and she's like, this is why we're never letting our kids play baseball. Like, we cannot imagine. First off, it's like the most nerve-wracking sport, especially as a parent. Like, every single, you're just on the edge of your seat, the nerves. It's not the stops and starts and play. It's got to be excruciating. You got weather delays like that Kentucky had to deal with on Friday. That was awful. And then, I mean, they played 8 hours of baseball. I turned it on in the 6th inning. So 2/3 of the game's over with, right? We still had 2.5 hours of baseball to go. Like, what the hell is that? So, love my kids. We've got a T-ball game tonight, one of our last ones of the year. Will I let my kids play all the sports? Sure. But will I guide them in other directions when the opportunity presents itself? Yes, because that's pain. That is pure pain to go through what I'm sure some of those parents went through, spending all weekend at the ballpark just to get their hearts ripped out. Like, screw you, baseball.
I like that a 13-12 West Virginia-Kentucky game is the final straw in your household for baseball. That did it. Boys, if you had any dreams of playing baseball, they got killed in the Clemson Regional yesterday.
Yeah, start swinging that golf club, buddy. All right?
I was going to ask you, your kids are getting to the age where you got to start thinking about youth sports. Are there any front runners? Clearly not baseball, but you said they're playing T-ball.
Yeah, we've got a T-ball. I have Iroquois golf courses nearby. We'll take him to the putting green every once in a while. He enjoys that. But we're all sports. We got a soccer net for Christmas. Got a basketball go outside. The biggest thing that I want to try to avoid is getting peer pressured into like the travel stuff. Like, just,
oh man, good luck.
Yeah, because like obviously there's going to be the time and place, but like I'm going to try to kick that can down the road as far as I can to just like, hey, just play all of the sports, because I know when I only played 2, but by the time I was done, I was done. And I know a lot of other people, they can get burnt out as well. My wife, we were going through. She was an all-conference volleyball player. She found her certificate of participation as the manager for her 7th grade volleyball team because she like had an injury. She like broke her arm and couldn't play. So she didn't play volleyball until she was in 8th grade and was an all-conference college volleyball player. Most of this stuff doesn't matter. Just, you're either good at it or you're not. You don't need to spend your whole life investing thousands of dollars into it to just, like, I don't know, talk about your glory days. Like, I don't remember half the people I played AAU with. So, yeah, just play them all. Shout out Freddie Maggard.
You're just not ready to go to Hampton Inns every weekend and following your boys around the tri-state area playing in sports. It seems like an expensive living, these travel teams.
Yeah. And especially baseball, you're outside. Or I think the worst, though, is swimming, because it's so... Like, Tyler, because you did swimming, right, Tyler?
Yeah.
You're there all day, and there's not, like, a set schedule, so it's just kind of sitting around the pool all day.
It's a little different now than it was when I was growing up, but I went to my nephew's swim meet recently in Nashville, and they're like very competitive travel team, all that. And this was like a region-wide meet. So it was teams from actually all across the country. It was the most stressful thing I've ever been to. So it's like it's a rolling meet, which means they don't stop between the races. Like the kids who are in the first race stay in the water until the second race starts. So like it's very stressful. And if you don't have your meet, like your events written down on your arm or memorized, you'll miss them. Like everybody has to line up. They do not stop. They will not stop. And one of my nephews, my youngest nephew, Wyatt, missed one of his heats because he was in the wrong lane or something and nobody like helped him or whatever. And I just felt so bad for him because it's totally understandable. Like it's the most chaotic atmosphere I've ever seen in my entire life. But swimming is a different beast these days when it was Danville Country Club during the summer and Danville High School during the fall. I don't even think I was part of a travel team because that wasn't really a thing for swimming back in the day. Like there were a couple across the state, but I would have had to go to like Lowell or Lexington every single day before and after school, which was a nightmare. So,
can we get the frog stroke implemented into swimming?
The frog, yeah. It's kind of like breaststroke. Like your feet, yeah, your legs do the frog kick.
The breaststroke, they do the frog kick too.
Yeah,
your back, your legs do.
Let's rename it then. I'm the immature one, and I need to change it from breaststroke to frog stroke. It's a lot funnier. I caught a couple frogs over the weekend. Really impressed the kids catching a frog.
Very cool.
Big dad.
Do you call it frog gigging?
That's when you actually stab them, and then you with the pitchfork, and then you go and you get some frog legs. Any frog leg fans?
Not a frog leg fan.
I'll eat them. Never been out gigging.
I know, same. I need to get out there. Need to give it a shot. Really test my salt, if you will. Oh wow, we just went some different direction right there.
Well, before we leave baseball, we got to talk about someone whose team is still in it.
Yeah, Stevens Racers.
Murray State.
Wow.
Steven, come on and tell us about it. He's ready.
Yeah, the Racers. When I was there, you never thought this could even be a possibility. Sorry, I'm trying to get this thing also set up at the same time. But yeah, Murray State baseball was so bad. And so it's pretty cool, like seeing them be one win away from going to a super regional. I never thought that I'd see the day that Murray State could be in this position. They beat Ole Miss in the first game of this. Then they beat Georgia Tech in this crazy college baseball is weird, isn't it? Like no lead is safe. I think they gave up 19 runs yesterday in the loss to Ole Miss, and that's why they're playing today.
So they're 1-1 against Ole Miss in the regional. Tonight's the rubber match.
Yeah, they're actually 1-2 against Ole Miss overall this year. They lost to them in extra innings earlier, and Murray State did beat Kentucky this year. So they, between I wouldn't say they're the best team in the state, but I don't think they got a shot at Louisville this season.
So if they win, who's the super regional? Like where would they go if they won?
I actually don't know. We're taking this one game at a time.
Good. That's a good mentality.
I know 0 players. I know a couple just from watch, but like that's the great thing about college sports, like being an alumni. But I don't follow the team at all. And now that they're here, I'm locked in. I'm ready for 6:00 tonight.
More baseball.
Yes, not enough. I got to watch a lot of baseball yesterday. That was was that almost 12 hours of baseball? It was pretty close.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
Just to keep up with the Cats. Good luck to your Racers.
Thank you.
Nick Roush, also a sport we're taking one game at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky football.
Yeah.
Hasn't been the greatest offseason for the Cats. And let's just say I'm a fan. And I'm like, well, you know what? It's June now. I can at least get excited about recruiting. Yeah. I can't watch them win a game yet. I can't see if the portal players are good yet. But at least in June, it's the official visit season. Started this past weekend. So, Roush, did they kill it on the first weekend of official visit season? How many commitments did Kentucky get?
0.
Okay, 0. That's not as many as we'd like.
It's not good. Now, maybe it'll get better. So that's the good news, is it can get better. They had 8 players show up to visit, and one of them was already committed. Jarvis Strickland, the offensive tackle from Paducah Tillman. Their only player committed. I think that's the biggest concern you have right now is, hey, you just need some players. And we were kind of operating under the assumption that a couple of their offensive tackles, while maybe on a good year they would be what we would call a fringe take. Like, hey, this guy's pretty good, but maybe we'll try to get somebody else. If that doesn't work out, then we'll add him to the class. But they kind of just need players. The bad news, here's the worst of the worst news, is not only did they not get either of those 2 offensive tackles, they also recruited 2 other offensive tackles who spent their first weekend at Rutgers, and both of them committed to Rutgers. So you have to say that out loud, that Kentucky lost 2 players to Rutgers, where like West Virginia and Pitt were among the other competition. I admittedly, I'm like all the other fans who were pretty bummed out about everything that's happened. So I have been less invested in learning names and recruiting and all that stuff. But one of the names I knew was Tyler Duell. And I was like, well, this is a good player who they should be able to get. He's Rust Belt, but he's not getting like Penn State type deals. You should be able to get that guy. Rutgers. It's just like, all right, what the hell's going on here? But I will rewind to what I said previously, is that they are at least getting more players on campus than previous years. So another kid started to visit today. That's probably a long shot. He's going to all of the Big Ten schools, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, edge player. So like that could be a bit of a long shot, but they're going to have a dozen or 15. So I'm waiting to smash the panic button until after this weekend, because if there's not anything after this weekend, then you're like, okay, what is going on? And secondly, what could be some good news is I'm not overly optimistic. I'll grant you, I'm not overly optimistic about this.
This is fun.
It's a great setup.
But Kentucky is the finalist for 2 of the 6 best available quarterbacks in the country.
There we go.
So, like, you're in the hunt for 2 guys who I didn't think that they could be in the hunt for. It's like, well, what's Bush Hamden selling, right? Like, look at this quarterback I had last year. It went so well for him that he retired from football, right? Like, it's a bit of a tough sell. But Matt Ponatoski is a Cincinnati Moeller kid. Kentucky's good at recruiting Cincinnati Moeller kids. And then another one is Oscar Rios, who's West Coast Elite 11 guy. They're finalists for both of them. But I'm a little worried that, it's a West Coast kid for Rios. He's deciding at the end of the month. He's going to visit Coach Prime right before he makes his decision. So I don't like the timing of all of that and the proximity. But Bush is keeping him in it. Ponatoski feels like a guy that maybe they should have already got committed a long time ago, but didn't for whatever reason. And now Oregon and Alabama are getting him for official visits. I think there might have been some worries that he would just play Major League Baseball instead. Like, he's that good at throwing balls. He's our new Jameis Winston, a little pitcher, quarterback superstar. If they could get either one of those, then you get this huge shot in the arm. You get all this recruiting momentum. But I don't trust Bush Hamden just yet to do it. If he can get it done, then I'm going to be a lot more bullish on what's going to happen this season. But so, a little bit good news, bad news. I'm not holding my breath, but I'm telling you there's a chance that they could turn this thing around with an elite quarterback that they're at least a finalist for here entering the month of June.
Well, I'm on the On3 team rankings. And if you go to the very bottom where there's only some schools with 1 commitment, Kentucky is now the only Power 4 school on the list that has 1 commitment. How worried should we be that the times have changed. You have the portal. High school is not as prioritized as it once was. But looking at this, Kentucky's on a list with Montana State,
Yep.
UConn, UC Davis, Any other school that's in any conference of significance, they have at least 2 commitments, and Kentucky is still sitting at uno. That a, some people could look at that as, what is the staff even doing right now on top of all the other concerns we have right now? Or is it just that they're being more patient? Is there anything to make of it being so few commitments?
I think the only other school, there's only 2 other SEC schools that have less than 5, and the school that has 5 is Alabama, and they have like a top 10 class because they're all 5-star players. So that's the concerning part. And to your point, Drew, all it's doing is just saying that, well, this staff is mailing it in. Like, that's the message it's sending. That's the message that's been sent since the season ended, and that's why motivated Mark Stoops is an ironic sort of jab. But I think part of it was like, this was going to be inevitable, right? Like, you go 4-8, you're going to be behind. Now, they gave Eric Wolford a contract extension, so they're confident they're going to get more players. But yeah, it's not ideal. It's not ideal whatsoever. And if that doesn't change soon, then especially when, like, we started this off with baseball. Nothing is happening in the month of June. Nothing. So all it's going to be is recruiting updates, other schools getting commitments, and you're not getting anything from Kentucky football. So, like, they gotta get this thing rolling, or else we'll get another. It was almost like the week after Pope finished the transfer portal, everybody got mad at Kentucky football over something. I don't know what it even was, but everybody was just all got their torches and pitchforks out at once. And it's the void gets you back to how pissed off you are that this team has backslid so much. That will get louder if they don't start getting commitments. Even if they're low 3-star guys, like, they got to get some warm bodies in this 2026 class.
We need good news. We need good football news. It's like, and unless it's really good football news, I'm worried things are so bad that even the, objectively decent good news will just get mocked by people who are so disenchanted with everything. It's like, oh, Kentucky lands a promising 3-star quarterback, just a 3-star, and then, what's Bush going to do with them? Exactly. Or, see what happened with the last 5-star guy we had. It's just, it's a really crappy place to be in. And I really feel for you and Luckett, because having to cover it and try to twist it. And you can't spin this right now. There's no way to spin it, because spinning it just makes people mad. And it's awful.
Well, at least we could talk about what Mark Stoops said at the spring meetings.
Yeah. It was quite a prolific appearance on absolutely nothing.
Let's recap it with everything he said. Ready? 3, 2, 1. And that was it. Wow.
That was SEC with Stoops. We did get the kickoff time since our last happy hour. It's a little bit dated, but we could have a little fun going over our thoughts on that. I know everyone covered it when it came out last Thursday, but we didn't have a happy hour last Thursday. Tyler, do you approve of, you start with 12:30 against Toledo, then 3:30 Ole Miss, ABC, and then 7:30 for Eastern Michigan. Do you approve?
I mean, I'm worried about the crowd at that opener. I guess with openers, you're going to have a somewhat decent showing, but 12:45 on Labor Day weekend, I don't know. We'll see. And if things go badly in week 2, really worried about the crowd in week 3, a 7:30 kickoff at night. Isn't that Bourbon and Beyond or something?
Oh, yeah. Sturgill Simpson's going to start singing right when the ball's it's football time in the Bluegrass, and I could smell that coming from 100 miles away. And, yeah. So I personally not happy with it, but I love noon kickoff, like the early kickoff for week 1, because there's so many good games being played. You get yours kind of in the bank before all of the later games get going on. So, like, let's be real. I know we're all going to get kind of worked up over, like, oh, Toledo could be really good. You only have to be there till halftime. Kentucky should kick their ass. It should be a nice and easy get in, go watch the first half, then go to KS Bar, watch the end of the noon games. You get your 3:30 kickoffs. Like, you can really set it off. But 3:30, like, Ole Miss 3:30, like, that'll be a lively crowd. That'll be a good turnout, and a big opportunity. Like, you can win a lot of people over. If not, I'm worried that Eastern Michigan might be the only 7:30 kickoff. I know that they'll appease Texas fans. Yes, I said it, Texas fans for that Keeneland kickoff. But like aside from that, I'm not preparing for a lot of night games for Kentucky this fall.
The Ole Miss game reminds me of South Carolina last year all over again. It was 3:30 ABC. SEC Nation was in town. SEC Nation will be in town again because it's the only SEC game that weekend. And it can set the tone for everything moving forward. If they lose by 25, like 31-6 to South Carolina in that spot last year. If you have a repeat, it is just straight downhill with excitement and energy. For the following week, you have an all-day tailgate where those lots will be empty. Or on the other hand, you beat Ole Miss, then you give fans a reason to come tailgate all day for that Eastern Michigan game. But so much will be decided at 3:30 in that ABC slot, just like it was a year ago when it went south.
And here's another thing too that I don't think it's been talked about, but the tailgating setups being changed this year, and that is
people are mad. People are mad.
And I don't think UK said anything publicly about it. But
I've got some friends who are being affected by that, and the streets are very, very upset about
essentially, UK is just getting a middleman to do it, a lot of it for them. But just adding a change on top of it all is just going to make people mad. So you need to win that game for a lot of reasons. I've got a big early Ole Miss game preview too. Austin Simmons graduated college at 19 years old. That is going to be what Molly McGrath, when they go to her for her first report on the sidelines, Austin Simmons in his first SEC start is on the road, and this guy, he reclassified, and you hear that a lot, but he jumped 2 classes, and he's already a college graduate at age 19. So there's your Ole Miss preview.
Contrast to Zach Calzada, who is 29 years old and on his 15th school at Kentucky.
I mean, it's basically his 4th job, you know?
Yeah. Can't wait. I'm so excited.
They should set those two down for a segment to lead up. Just be like, do y'all have any common interest? Like, do you have anything in common from school?
Oh,
Zach probably went to school with his dad.
We need like the songs of their high school senior year that were most popular. You know, what was your prom theme? Do they still do prom themes? Is that a thing?
I haven't been hanging out at too many proms lately.
Yeah, I found out that class songs are a thing. That was not a thing at Danville High School. It was a radio show topic last week, like graduations and class songs. We didn't have a class song.
I think that was starting to happen around my time. I was 2010, and we didn't have like a specific one. But Blueprint 3 by Jay-Z came out that year, and Forever Young, just, you're graduating. Yeah, so we played that one quite a bit. Shout out to Hope.
Song. It's a great song. There's a fun event this week if you all want to go to it. We've been promoting it for quite a while. The 3rd annual Woodford Legends Invitational at the Woodford Club in Versailles. In fact, I believe the fun starts tomorrow with the Junior Golf Festival. There's a drive, chip, and putt contest. All kinds of fun going on at the Woodford Club in Versailles. The tournament actually starts Saturday and Sunday, June 7th and 8th, coming up this weekend, but the fun all begins tomorrow when the golf gets started. It's a unique 2-woman team event with some big-time LPGA names. We've told you about Hall of Famer Julie Inkster. She'll be there. Pat Bradley and Laura Davies. I actually saw a Laura Davies highlight video on Twitter earlier. I don't know why that popped up. Maybe because I was excited for the Woodford Legends Invitational. But you can still get your tickets at the woodfordclubfoundation.org/tickets. It's very inexpensive to attend. Kids get in free. And adult tickets are cost you under $10. It all is this weekend at the Woodford Club in Versailles. It's finally here. We've been talking about them since the first happy hour. I guess this will be our last happy hour promoting it. Get in there. The Woodford Club.
Is Pat Bradley kin to the SEC Network's Pat Bradley?
No, I don't think so. Could be.
He probably has an accent that is similar to hers. She has an accent for everything.
Go out there and check it out, Nick. Get to the bottom of it.
I will be at the first Kentucky football camp on Sunday. So,
that's right.
Yeah, those are kicking off. Should
be get a commitment? Commitment watch?
I hope so. Let's hope so.
Motivated.
Yeah. I thought the big event we were talking about this weekend was your 40th birthday, Drew.
Yeah.
This is on here a little bit early. I I still have 10 days in my 30s. Watch out.
It's your last happy hour with us before you go.
Thank you. I do. I'll be on vacation next week. I'm running off to Mexico with some of my other idiot friends who are turning 40. We're all just going to turn 40 together. Be one big happy family. Oh, God, you guys are making me feel special. 10 more days, guys. I'm not there yet. I will say it's I don't feel like it's really hit me yet that 40's around the corner. I just remember when my parents turned 40, they had like an over the hill theme party with like black paper plates and napkins and tablecloth. Everything was black, and I'm like, my parents are 40. They're gone. I mean, this is the last time I'll ever see them. Doesn't feel quite like that. I still feel kind of young, other than my knees and just random body parts aching at random parts of the day. But I still feel kind of young. Tyler, you don't have to reveal your age, but should I, with 40 approaching, should I be feeling something?
Well, I was going to tell you, I wore my black country boy shirt in your honor because as the only other member of the KSR website crew who is 40 or older, I just turned 40 last year. I'm here to tell you it's not that bad. It's not that scary. You will be reminded from every day from now until your actual birthday, you have so and so many days left in your 30s, so make them count. My friends really love that joke. I spent mine in Grayton Beach in Florida with like 10 of my best friends. It was awesome. I challenged them to come up with lessons for me, that they have learned in their 40s. Most of my friends are older than I am, so I would not encourage you to do this with your friends because it took forever. Like, we sat around on the back porch of this beach house and it was really fun, but people really have a lot of thoughts and advice to share about life in their 40s. So, I mean, I had to listen to a lot. But,
it's about like asking a parent parenting advice and then they just don't shut up. Everybody's got an opinion. So I'm sure. Right. But you had to have learned something though, right, Tyler?
Absolutely. Yeah. It was just repeated in like 17 different versions. But no, I think the best advice I got was you're just going to stop caring what people think. And that's perfectly okay.
Oh,
you will be team NF increasingly more as the time goes on. So
we're good there.
Preaching to the
we're
choir.
Probably are all good there. But yeah. And, always the cheesy advice, stretch more. You're going to have random body parts hurt when you wake up, and it's just part of life and all the generic stuff you've heard. But
speaking of body parts hurting, the resort I'm going to, I've been to once before. I was the best man in a wedding there. The groom, he's going with me, also turning 40 this year. But when I was there, they say don't run by the pool. Well, I was running and I fell and actually cracked my head and got a concussion and missed the rehearsal dinner and a big part of the trip. So I'm excited for my redemption. I don't remember the place. People tell me it's lovely. It looked nice in photos. I managed to give a speech while concussed. But I did learn last time I was at this place, when they say no running, they mean it. There's actually some consequences there.
Yeah.
I'm glad you are doing the all-inclusive with the friends, though, because that is so much fun. My dad is he sells these trips, so I'm well versed in the all-inclusive game. And the first thing you got to do when you arrive, though, is you gotta make friends with the right bartender, because the lines can be a little bad, but also if you get the wrong bartender, you can just be drinking the mixture, right? Like you want to make sure that there's a colada in your pina. So you got to make sure that you give him a nice tip up front and like, hey, you're my guy. We're coming back. Because the last one I went to, we had one of those, you get those like big metal cups, and he would just get the Grey Goose out and we would just tell him when to stop pouring. So like that, I think you got to set the tone early with the right bartender. And then there's no such thing as too much sunscreen.
I've already loaded up on
very
sunscreen.
True. Very true.
Last time I was at this place, we really got to know the bartenders, Alejandro and Miguel, to the point that after their shift one day, we met them and we did our groomsmen versus the staff in soccer. It was incredible. I have video. We went up 2-0, ended up losing 3-2. But Miguel, he's every bit of 3 feet tall. After our match, he and I traded shirts, and he has on my big baggy Kentucky shirt. And I am wearing maybe a men's extra small white polo with his name tag on it. But we did the ceremonial jersey trade. It's been about 8 years, but I'm hoping Alejandro and Miguel are still there, and maybe we'll get a rematch. I don't know. But, yeah, we got to know the staff pretty well, Nick. I appreciate that tip.
That's awesome.
So I have a tip. Do you have any early risers in your group? Like anybody who gets up early?
Yeah, I mean, we're all getting pretty old. We all get up pretty early now, I would say.
So it being an all-inclusive resort, you're going to have the chair game at the pool. You got to get out and you got to clean those chairs by the pool. Because if you wait until like normal breakfast time, like 8 o'clock, they will all be gone. So you got to stake your claim at the pool, send your friends down who get up the earliest with some towels. I mean, you could also, if they like, you could pay to reserve chairs. That's probably the better way to do it. But yeah, every all-inclusive, every resort I've been to, the chair game is like, that is the big thing. You got to claim your chairs.
I also am a big fan of all of the all-inclusive entertainment because, you know, and especially you're only doing 4 days. That's not really enough time to like want to get out and off the resort and do like one of those big excursions because just eating up a whole day, like you can wear your ass out. So I love the magicians. It doesn't matter how cheesy or hokey it is. The all-inclusive entertainment is outstanding. Especially, there's usually a Michael Jackson night. I don't know what it is about Latin America, but they are still all in on Michael Jackson. If you go, like the street performers, there's always a Michael Jackson street performer. But getting the Michael Jackson show where they do all the dancing and stuff, oh, great time. Great time post-dinner. I
checked the calendar. We're there for 2 different karaoke nights. And Aaron Fleener's in the group, so I feel like our entertainment's pretty locked down. He had the genius idea. One of the people ordered an inflatable beer pong table for the pool because, 40, why wouldn't you want to have a beer pong table?
Right.
He came up with the idea we needed a second one simply for when other people want to play, we can pull out our spare beer pong tables. So we're pretty set. Looking forward to it.
Are you sure this is a 40th and not a 21st?
We have way too many props.
They let you bring Country Boy down there with you.
No,
it sounds like you're going to need it.
I'll probably have a few in me before the flight. I'll take them down there that way. I will miss that. And I'll miss you all in the happy hour next week. I'll be on vacation. You can call me if you want, but I probably won't answer. Tyler, what's going on with these zebras on the loose in Nashville? I see this as a headline here on our beautiful graphic Steven's drawn up, which, by the way, still says 40.3 subscribers. We got to get to 50K. Yeah. And I see West for Robin with a nice $20 super chat there. Thank you, West for. Yeah, appreciate the birthday shout out. Thank you. I didn't expect 10 days early, but I'm feeling the love here. Appreciate it. But yeah, Tyler, this zebra's on the loose. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, so Steven, I don't know if there's a way to play the video. There is a pet zebra on the loose in the streets of Nashville. And by streets of Nashville, I mean the suburbs in Rutherford County. But still, so these people have a pet zebra, which is that legal? Like, is that legally allowed? I don't know. But it got loose on Saturday. And since then has been spotted throughout like the greater area of Nashville. They had to shut down I-24, which is a huge major interstate. Because it ran into traffic on both sides. It remains at large. So the zebra is out, is about, and no one, everybody in Nashville's talking about it.
I would, why would you want a zebra as a pet?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm sure you can get the sort of exotic animal license, but like, why a zebra when you can't ride zebras? So, like, wouldn't you just want a horse? Like, what is even the point? Secondly, I bet it is a challenge, but also, like, Nashville's gone soft. You got all those honky-tonks, all those cowboys, and you can't lasso one zebra. I remember when we had bulls get out on campus at UK, and the UK rodeo team was out there just like that, and they had those SOBs hooked and ready to roll before they could get to Nicholsville Road. So
it's because everybody wears a cowboy hat and cowboy boots in Nashville. It's not a real cowboy. It's all fake. I feel like we're exposing. Yeah, Drew, why don't you get in your car and come on down and wrangle it up? Put on that hat.
No, I was just admitting that I wear cowboy boots and a cowboy hat to Broadway without being a cowboy. Carry on. I was just.
The crazy thing is, there actually was a rodeo in Nashville this weekend. Nashville's first ever rodeo was at Bridgestone Arena, and this happened at the same time. But I figured you all be making jokes about like SEC basketball referees at this point. I mean, because
Oh,
the
yeah, we
zebras
did.
are on the loose.
Yeah, we
Their
didn't-
calendar's a little wrong.
I'm more interested in what kind of Tiger King situation y'all have going on in Nashville. This is clearly someone's backyard setup that doesn't need to exist.
Weird.
What other animals are back there? Are they okay? Do we need to bust in and free anything else? This zebra, I think, is probably one of many that's in a situation it shouldn't be in.
It's a cry for help, is what it is.
Well, news is going to be slow, I have a feeling, for the next few days. So I may just cover this on KSR. Like, it's a story everyone should know about, because it is. I'm genuinely curious what's going to happen with the zebra.
I would also add that I had a family friend who did I forget which country in Africa where they went and did the safari. Because when you go to the zoo and you see a zebra and you're thinking, hey, it kind of sticks out. But when they're in the bush, the stripes are actually a pretty good camouflage. I think even though they popped out on the video, I think this zebra is going to be sneaky. We might have ourselves a situation where it could be like the deer that got lost in Louisville a couple of years back when they had the bad flooding and it just like jumped into the river. We might never see the zebra again.
I don't think I remember that story. I do remember about 10 years ago, maybe it was less than that, there was a coyote that got stuck in the bathroom of the new Nashville Convention Center. And that was a big deal. And the coyote's okay. They got it out. But it's like it's yet another weird animal story with this city. It's bizarre.
It is bizarre. I prefer the horses that aren't striped, though.
Yes, you do.
I do. And I was supposed to be.
Wait, Nick, I thought isn't the horse racing season over?
Oh, buddy, we're in prime time. It was one of those, too, where, like, whenever I'm off work, I can even just like be scrolling through dumb videos on Instagram, and my wife's like, "Oh, you need to be off your phone," and so like I have to be very sneaky with how I use my phone. Luckily, I have a group chat of friends who share tips on which horses are running well. Saturday was a great day at Churchill Downs, so we had a couple big winners, but our guy Mystic Dan had not won a race since the Kentucky Derby. And here's the thing. I was never a big Mystic Dan fan, but that race was so awesome. And I know that, like in my mind, I know it's a better horse than Rich Strike. Rich Strike's a bum. It's got a bum trainer. Like, it's never going to win anything ever again. That trainer's never going to win anything again. But like Kenny McPeak and Brian Hernandez, they won a graded stakes with this horse. It came in second in the Preakness a few weeks later. Like, I knew this horse had it in him. It didn't win a race. It had not won a race since the Kentucky Derby. Had only finished in the money once since that Preakness second place finish. They bring him back to Churchill Downs, and coming around that turn, he cut the corner again. Travis Stone, it was like deja vu all over again. And Mystic Dan cuts the corner. It was an awesome ride by Brian Hernandez. And even though I did not bet the horse, it was very cool to see Mystic Dan in the winner's circle. First time since 1998, when Silver Charm came back and won at Churchill Downs, that a Derby winner has won at Churchill Downs again. It just shows you how weird the sport is, that a Derby winner just doesn't go back to Churchill Downs. So we might have a horses for courses situation where this horse will be back. But the big race isn't at Churchill Downs this weekend. It's at Saratoga. Saratoga Racecourse is hosting the Belmont this year. There's whispers that they'll get it for one more year. The plan is to go back to Belmont, but a lot of people are skeptical that the renovations will be done. So we're at Saratoga, which is the Keeneland of New York. It's a beautiful race course. The track isn't as big, so instead of starting the race on a turn, it's 1.25 miles. It's a shorter race. And one thing to consider, not just in the Belmont, a lot of the horses that train for the undercard on Derby Day are also doing the undercard on Belmont Stakes Day. So the Met Mile will be a lot of fun. Fierceness is running it back against White Barrio. So it should be a great gambling day. Maybe I'll have some tips later on this week on KSR Plus. But for the Belmont Stakes, we got 1, 2, 3 in the Derby. Baeza, Journalism, and, of course, the winner, Sovereignty. And then Rodriguez, who I really liked that horse a lot going into the Derby, and then he had a hoof issue that scratched him out of not only the Derby but the Preakness. So it's not the biggest field. They're drawing it once we get off the air, right about 5:15. But an 8-horse field, for the third leg of the Triple Crown. And I know there's not a Triple Crown on the line, guys, but we've got a rivalry, like a bona fide rivalry where journalism lost to Sovereignty on Derby Day in the slot, but came back, won the Preakness in dramatic fashion. It ticked a lot of people off because there was a lot of bumping and grinding down the stretch. There's Steve Asmussen is telling Umberto Rispoli to quit riding that thing like a donkey. Like some real heads clashing ahead of a big rivalry. Like we could have another Sovereignty journalism duel down the stretch. But I think the wise thing to do is probably to bet Baeza, because Baeza was finishing strong, and that horse is lightly ridden, probably has the best chance to improve. So my heart's with journalism, guys, because I believed in that horse from the get-go, and that was an awesome Preakness win. But I'm a little worried that my heart's going to fail me. And as much fun as it would be to have those two dueling down the stretch, Baeza seems like the perfect horse to come in and just ruin the rivalry party.
I'm just glad someone's excited about the Belmont. You need to sell your enthusiasm to other people. Help them market this. I'm one of the people that's like, well, we don't have a Triple Crown winner. Maybe I'll tune in. Hate to downplay it after you just cooked there for a minute.
Hey,
but the sport needs help, Nick Roush. Make me care about sovereignty versus journalism.
It could be another great rivalry in that I know that for a lot of people it is just Triple Crown season. But we'll probably see these horses back racing at this same racetrack later on in August at the Travers Stakes. So you mean like this could be the second time, but also the second of 4, right? So we could have sovereignty journalism in the Derby, in the Belmont, in the Travers, and in the Breeders' Cup Classic at Del Mar. So you don't often get great rivalries in the sport like you used to with Affirmed and Alydar. But we might be able to run it back here this year. Let's just hope these two can deliver the goods this weekend at Saratoga.
They need some good hype people around them. Sell this thing. Maybe some good social media content. Maybe release a scandal about one or the other. Maybe some beef. Really play it up. If we're gonna have potential 4 run-ins.
Oh yeah, we need the horses to start talking trash at one another.
Need some diss tracks.
Yeah. Get Kendrick Lamar on this. He'll help us
Before we
out.
wrap this up with some Q&A from the KS board, I guess maybe Steven has those graphics dialed up like he did last week. That was helpful. This segment is brought to us by Optimal Living Services. They partner with clients to increase their awareness of issues and empowers them to develop the skills to manage their challenges. Every individual has the ability to grow from their problems, whether it's substance use, mental health, work, finance, or emotional struggles. Optimal Living Services helps clients learn their potential and joins them in their journey. You can head to optimallivingservices.com. You can see it right there on the live stream, optimallivingservices.com to learn more, or call them at 859-785-1030. Tell them KSR sent you. That's Optimal Living Services.
Maybe you're 40 and having a midlife crisis.
Maybe that. I don't know.
Maybe you're a Kentucky football fan who's looking forward to the season.
I'll hit that midlife crisis eventually, but right now I'm on my second Country Boy on a Monday. Hard to complain about life. Talking to my good friends over the internet like people do. What more could a man want?
Exactly. You're living an optimal life. Just like our friends over at KS Board, where we're having a good time. I appreciated all of, my family doesn't like smoked meats and it made me very jealous of all the people talking about their smokers over Memorial Day weekend. I'm really jealous of Smoker Phillips, Drew. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, Smoker Phillips, he's good to me. I've had Smoker Phillips 5 years now. I almost said he doesn't let me down. He's definitely let me down a few times. One time I had my friends over when I first got my Traeger. It's a pretty big purchase. It's not a cheap grill. And I was telling them how easy it was. I'm like, look, you just hit a button. Well, a little unbeknownst to me, I don't know if some oil or something got down in the flame and actually created a flame, which isn't supposed to happen. And I opened the grill at my first house party at my new house with my new toy and nearly lost both my eyebrows. If I didn't have these big things. So, yes, the smoker's fun until you embarrass yourself.
Are you really grilling out if you don't burn a little hair off your knuckles, though?
It's part of the fun.
Playing with fire.
That was a hot topic on KS Board during Memorial Day. Let's see what we have now. Let's just start with Finna Go Ham. Wanting to know what kind of musical instruments we play. Roush, I'm sure you were in the band at some point. What was Roush holding on to?
I went to private schools where music class was singing church songs. Well, we did not necessarily have the financial investment to have instruments. So, although I have been known to maybe crush a couple country boys and get out a harmonica and just do a little ditty. So
Nice.
there was one time in particular where I had a roommate who could play banjo, and we swear up and down it was the best performance of Wagon Wheel in the history of ever. And I'm sure it sounded like nails on a chalkboard, but boy, we had a great time doing it.
So with the Happy Hour band, you got dibs on the harmonica.
Oh man,
Tyler, what's our first live concert's coming up in a month, and Nick's on the harmonica. What are you bringing to the table?
at best, I can play the recorder, and even then, it's probably Hot Cross Buns because that's the only song I feel like anybody learns to play on the recorder. I did used to be in children's choir. I don't consider myself a good singer now, but our children's choir was like kind of a big deal. We performed at Disney World, which I like to throw that out there. Yeah, I like to throw that out there. See, we have that in common, me and all the Backstreet Boys. But I like to just humble brag that I performed at Disney World when it was really me as one member of like a 20-person choir, which was one of maybe 50 choirs that was there. But it counts. I will take it every day.
My mom wanted me to learn music, so I was made to be in the band. I didn't have to do high school, but just middle school. And I picked the drums, and she said, no, a real instrument, which drums are a real instrument.
She just didn't want you to play drums in that house.
Couldn't do drums, so I settled on the trombone. Just probably never really a future for me with the trombone, but I was second chair. There's probably 5 of us. I made it up to second chair. I could hold my own.
If I had a choice, though, it would be trumpet. Like one of my what's the word? Guilty pleasures is Louis Armstrong. Like, and going to New Orleans and hearing somebody who
guilty just about that
can go ham on the trumpet, like, dude, that would kick all kinds of ass. And you can have it close by. I know saxophone is the sexiest, sort of most sensual of the brass, but I would get out the trumpet and just. Oh, that'd be a lot of fun.
Now, you would just do call to the post every single day and annoy the crap out of your family.
Man.
That's the real reason.
Oh, I'd be waking people up with it. Yeah.
You need a bugle, not a trumpet. Just go full Churchill Downs. Maybe you're the next bugler.
What a sweet ass gig that is, too. I mean, you just show up to corporate events, you toot your horn, and then call it a day, right? Oh, I got to go to Keeneland 2 months out of the year, twist my arm, like.
I remember that guy who did the PGA tournament. He was on the tee box in the morning. It's got all the fun events. You should really consider learning just that one song and then trying out to be the bugler when his time is up.
So you will not be surprised to hear that I've had multiple conversations with Steve Buttleman, and one of them was how he got the job. And
did you do a KSR YouTube channel video about
it? And it's honestly it's a shame that I haven't done this yet. But I call him the Buttle Man, but he essentially they had a big tryout and they got down to 3 and they had a trumpet off and he was chosen, but there's still like a first or second alternate. I think he was at the U of L School of Music previously, but yes, I've done my research, just a teensy-weensy bit. We're going to have to get on the KSR YouTube channel, which reminds me, Steven, I've got a silly video idea. I'll pitch it to you off air. So there's a little teaser for our KSR audience.
Nice.
In the meantime, Steven, is there another question? Hey. Oh.
Ooh.
Favorite video games growing up or right now?
We were very simple with video games growing up. It was lots of Zelda, lots of Mario. Mario Kart was big, even going through college. During the pandemic, I picked up the old Zelda, like the old Zelda games. I forget which one it was. And like one of the biggest moments of the pandemic for me was beating it. Like I took a screenshot, like it, because you know how like obsessed you got with things during the pandemic, weird stuff like that.
It was a sense of accomplishment. You achieved something great.
I did something that day. It was great. I also got into Animal Crossing during the pandemic, another video game. And now I don't know if we have any Animal Crossing fans and watching, but they judge you if you don't play in a while. It's like you live on an island with a bunch of other villagers. And so if you haven't played in a while and you go back, they make it clear. They're like, well, we haven't seen you in a while. And they make it look like you just woke up after you've been asleep for a long time. Like you've got like stuff in your hair and whatever. So like I'm terrified to ever go back to my Animal Crossing village because they're just going to judge me for being gone.
Freemiums are bullying you.
I know, man.
Trying to squeeze extra dollars out of you. We didn't have an N64 at the house growing up. Like a lot of friends did, but I just missed that wave. Not to say I didn't play, because Smash Bros. And Mario Kart were probably the most played games in college. I was a Kirby. I love the brick smash down, just like a good old-fashioned easy saves. Great game. But the PS2 was my preferred console of choice, and I could contend that Street Volume 2, NBA Street Volume 2, is the best sports video game ever. That and like NFL Blitz. Those were my two. Like I could pick up NFL Blitz, and I know they would always make you fumble or throw an interception when you got up. I can still blow people out in NFL Blitz. So those are my favorite games. Now, the 5-year-old, we have a Wii at our house, so he will play Wii Mario Kart, and he's pretty good, but he just recently learned Wii Sports. And the other day, he beat me twice in a row in bowling. And I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, come on. So
That's awesome. I'm just glad. Yeah, Wii Sports feels like nostalgic and retro now, which makes me really feel old. But yeah, I caught my nephews playing it over Thanksgiving break, and it was awesome.
It's a great console.
Yeah,
good
stuff. Wii Tennis. Love Wii Tennis.
Oh, yeah. We're trying to push off the video games, though, because like we used to be when we were kids, mine can get obsessive. You know? Yeah.
You said Wii is old and nostalgic. I quit before that. But my Nintendo 64, I'm looking at it right now. It has been with me every year since 1996. Nice. Well, 97, because my parents made me wait till the following Christmas when it was marked down. But once I got it, it has been with me every step of the way. GoldenEye, 1080 snowboarding, anyone?
Oh, that's a good one, yeah.
I think that's one of the originals. I played this Wildlife golf game. I don't think anyone else played it in the world except maybe me. I'd be embarrassed if I saw an actual number on how many hours I've committed to that. It would be outrageous. I mean, it would be some people's lifespan is what I've committed to that Wildlife golf game. But it's all Nintendo 64 for me. I have a PS5.
GoldenEye was such a big one. Yeah.
Oh, of course. What else do I have over there? I got my Super hooked up too. Love a good Super. I have the PS5 now, but just I never play it. I tell myself I'm going to play it. I'll pay $60 for a game, and that game will still sit there.
One of my friends, like I had to try out the new NCAA game, but they're too good now. You know, like I felt like you needed to have a good understanding of offensive football to be able to play it. And I just, you don't
understand football?
Well, but like you have to, like I could see how it would make you better at football, but I don't have the time to like get my touchdown, like, you know, to figure out how to. No, I'm sorry. I like my video games to be nice and basic. Like Crash Bandicoot. You remember that guy? He'd spin around and, you know, just give me good old fashioned like 4 to 6 buttons to figure out. Okay, that's all I need, and I'm good.
KS Board started an online league on the new PGA 2K25. I thought, you know what? I used to be good at these golf games. Our Bramblet, yeah, I'll bring it to your society. So I go buy this game. I talk my trash on KS Board for weeks. I play in our first tournament. I shot 41 over for dead last. 41 over. That's how out of touch I am with the games. If you'd caught me at age 20, 21 at a golf game, it was on. 41 over in my debut in our KS Board online league.
Not great.
It's golf, though. Like, I know it's a challenging sport, but you swing the club. Like, how hard can it? Yeah. That's a no for me, dog. Out on new video games.
The night before Matt and I played TPC Scottsdale, I played it on the video game to get a feel for it, and my real life person, who's not even good at golf, shot better than my video game person. That's backwards. That's how hard the video games have gotten. They're harder than actually going out and playing the sport.
We really are sounding like 40-year-olds.
Man.
I'll add Roush to that group.
Somebody mentioned Tony Hawk Pro Skater. That game. I had number 2 was my preferred one, but those games rocked. So much fun.
Good soundtracks, too.
Good show. Oh, yeah, great soundtracks.
Let's get in 2 more questions, and let's call it a day. It's been an hour. People got to go home from work.
Oh,
more video game talk.
Yeah.
Let me lean in close. Here's my white beard. NCAA football 26 will include some real coaches. Any chances we get Mark Stoops? That'd be a headline, Nick. Is he laying low from the video games, too?
We will not see Mark Stoops, but we will see motivated Mark Stoops.
Does he have like red eyes? Like, does he come out and he's just like?
You would think that would be something easy to promote, but
No.
Yeah,
They're all business there. All business.
What do you think the coaches get compensated for that? Right? Because I mean, they got to pay him for it, don't they?
Yeah. I'd say the big names probably get a big check. Some people are lucky to just be on there, but I bet the top tier they're commanding a high dollar to have their face put on the game.
I hope Kenny Dillingham can just go on sideline tirades and like storm onto the field and scream at officials. We need that sort of. You want to make it realistic? Have Kenny Dillingham losing his mind at midfield because there shouldn't be a second on the clock, but there should because he was an idiot and tried running the ball around.
What other Kentucky football things should we add that they would never add? Like, can we get Mincy at the concession stand? Can we get?
That'd be a great little Easter egg.
Yeah, KSR Rapid Reactions by the dumpster.
Press box coffee.
Yeah, I was gonna say the crappy coffee machine in the press box.
Oh yeah, get one of the commentators complaining about this coffee.
I wish they would have like the terrible muffled Carl Nathy. Not that he's terrible, I love Carl Nathy, but the sound in Kroger Field. I wish that would echo over the game.
The broken speaker, the bus.
First down,
speaker.
Kentucky.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Maybe the corporate tents, tailgating tents that are going outside. They could show our frustrated fan base, empty seats.
Shaking fists. Yeah.
At least they can show beers in the stands. We
Country
do
Boy.
Remember how long it took us to get Country Boy into Kroger Field?
It was a big deal.
Wow.
Look
I'm
how
gonna
much.
try again.
Look how far we've come. Oh, the clapper's broken. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Oh,
wow.
I got to get real close to that one. Oh, no.
What?
We might have to just pick one.
This is a 5-pack. Yeah, we're going to pick one of these. We already did the what's your favorite beer. All right, Nick Roush, is this Stoops' last season as UK's head football coach? Take it away.
No. He's going to go 5-7 or 6-6, and they're not going to fire him. Like Mitch Barnhart has made that abundantly clear that Stoops isn't on the hot seat.
What about this question about John Wong's UK Athletics post?
Okay, I would love to talk about John Wong's column that I did not read, but being infuriated that your historically inept Kentucky baseball program isn't in a super regional is very funny to me. It's very amusing. Now, if you want to steer this conversation back to basketball, because like the point is now it's acceptable to just be the middle of the pack in the SEC. We definitely let Mark Pope, like he got his first year, right? And he won some big games, and it was a historically challenging SEC. So he got a lot of rope for some of those losses that I think, like especially that Alabama one early at Rupp. If that was Cal, there would have been a lot of frustrations there. But losing to Alabama 3 times when you're just, you're a bad matchup and they're just going to beat you. We were willing to give him that last year. With Otega Oweh back, and the rest of the roster, there's going to be his. I don't want to say his feet will be to the fire, but there will be Final Four expectations, and I think rightfully so. The SEC can't be as good as it was last year. There's not going to be as much top-end talent. I think Otega Oweh will be the league's leading returning scorer, right?
Sounds right. Yeah.
I mean, if not, he's one of the top 2 or 3. So the expectation will be cranked back up on high next year going to Kentucky basketball. And that's the traditional standard. The traditional Kentucky football standard, honestly, 4-8 was more normal than what we had previously. So, like, if you're talking about history, things are on the more so up and up. And then I haven't even mentioned women's basketball either, which Kenny Brooks did a lot better than we thought. Although, like it's similar to Pope in that we would be mad that they lost at home in the NCAA tournament if it wasn't a first year. So a lot of it's first year coaches getting some rope, and you also just went to your first College World Series ever. We're going to give Nick Mingione a little extra rope.
Josh Hubbard is the SEC's leading returning scorer, but always right behind him. That the post referencing KS board post too, where they're talking about accepting Kentucky as 6th in the SEC. That was the only time Pope we're accepting that.
Yeah,
the transition year, crazy hard SEC. Outside of Florida, there's not a better team that I don't think you can put ahead of Kentucky in the preseason right now. So they better be in the mix to win the regular season and the tournament. It's time. Roster's way too loaded to be settling. Pope's he's fully here. It's not like last season.
Yeah, I was going to say the SEC is coming down a little bit. It's still going to be really, really strong, but it's not going to be like last season when you had so many really, really good teams. So, I mean, Alabama's kind of in a rebuild. You know, Tennessee may not be as good. Arkansas could be pretty good. Obviously, Florida, they're bringing back a bunch.
So last year, Auburn won the SEC with 3 losses, and I think you'll be able to win it again at 3 losses. But that's probably the max, right? Where you can only have 4. Like it's going to be very one of those. Like Ole Miss is going to be a very annoying middle of the pack team. Probably A&M with their buckyball. I could see Mbako being pretty decent early on. Yeah, and also thank God Buzz Williams is gone. Like,
Buzz in his 3-piece suit.
Yeah, but he calls timeouts like he's a baseball coach changing pitchers in the 8th inning of a 5-hour game. Like
that one game, who they played? Was it Vanderbilt? They lasted like an hour longer than it should have and delayed the start of the Kentucky game, or at least kicked Kentucky to ESPN Plus. I don't think Kentucky fans will ever forgive Buzz.
No, yeah.
That was like some online anger I had not seen.
Missed almost the whole first half.
Yeah.
He also hurt Lamont Butler.
That's true.
Yeah.
Did he take that offensive rebounding coach with him? Coach Cal's old assistant?
Yes.
Did he go to Maryland?
Did you ever tell that story, Drew?
That's a good story for the happy hour.
About the offensive rebounding coach being Cal's assistant? Yeah. Cal maybe not remembered him?
Yeah, that one.
I think you told that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in Cal's defense, if you look at a picture of that guy, Steve something, when he was in Memphis with Cal, looks nothing like that character that walked into Rupp Arena with A&M. I mean, complete transformation to English professor.
Well, I mean, in fairness, I think he got the Buzz Williams makeover. He went to his school of style.
He went to like a haberdashery and a tailor, and haberdashery is a hat person, but definitely a different era of look.
Well, now that we're name dropping hat places, I don't even know what that word is. What was it?
Haberdashery.
Time for me to put on a fun hat.
You've got a lot of hats, and
No, yeah, why not?
So many hats to wear.
Mario told me I got to stop wearing hats and let this beautiful gray hair shine. Maybe I will. But that was a fun happy hour. I'll miss you all next week. I guess Tyler, you'll host with whoever's wants to hop on. I'll be thinking of you all while I'm playing soccer against the locals down in Mexico. But I'm looking for some time away. It was another fun one today. Thanks to Country Boy Brewing, Optimal Living Services. Check them out. And don't forget the Woodford Legends Invitational going on this weekend. Still get tickets for that. And go have a Country Boy if you want. I'm about to go mow. And the best thing after mow is that beer waiting me in the garage fridge. I intentionally wait. I use a blower to get my trimmings, clean off the area. I do that after the beer so I can walk around beer and blower. So here in about an hour, you can drive by my house and see me keeping this party going with Country Boy. But I had fun chatting with you all here on the internet for a little bit.
Cheers. Cheers to turn 40.
You got this, Drew.
You can
it's
do
a beautiful hat, Nick. What is that, a cowboy hat or is that a beach? Is it a bachelorette cowboy hat? What is it?
It's a little in between. It's like it's a lighter kind of material. So a little bofa. Hot day. This will keep the shade out of your eyes.
Need some power, okay. All right. We'll see you next Monday and also on KentuckySportsRadio.com every minute, every hour of every day because it never stops. Go Cats, and thanks for watching us here.